I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
Today we're going to be talking about why your ex must come to you. Now we know that when you're going through a breakup and you come online looking for help, you're going to hear a lot of different answers. You're going to hear a lot of different mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, a lot of everything.
Yeah, some of it will be in the name of advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're going to hear a lot of different things. We really believe that if somebody ends the relationship, you really want that person to come back to you. And we're going to talk about that today because it's really, really important to understand the dynamic shifts when that person now has to reach out to you to try and connect with you, and they don't think that you're going to keep chasing after them or reaching out to them. You know, you'll hear advice about handwritten letters. There was one year that I just kept track of handwritten letter data. And anytime somebody told me how it went, I would mark down in the call. Didn't go well. The good reminder text. If we thought they were effective, we would tell you to do them, okay? It's just that time and time again, we really see that those methods are intrusive and just make your ex feel more confident that they still have you and there's no consequence for them breaking up with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and all of those techniques, they feel good for you. I'm sure it feels good to write out your emotions in a letter. I'm sure it's good to reminisce on your good memories that you have. But you have to think about what they're experiencing now and what their needs are. So the first reason as to why they need to come to you is because it was their decision to end the relationship. So now the ball is in their court. Now it's their turn to decide if they want to reconsider things. It also shows that if you're respecting their decision, you're respecting their wishes and their needs for space. So this is huge because a lot of times after a breakup, we get caught up in our own anxiety, our own needs, our own desire to reconnect with somebody that we've lost, and wanting to repair that relationship so desperately that we forget what the other person is experiencing. So that's definitely something that you have to remember.
Yes, when we become anxious, it causes us to become very selfish and self-absorbed.
Yes.
And which can really destroy a connection. Oftentimes, you may look back at your relationship and think, oh, I've been self-absorbed and anxious often, which keeps you out of being present with your partner because you're spending so much time and energy trying to control your partner and get them to do what you want them to do. So you really have to come to a place where you're going to stop reaching out and show them, okay, if this is what you want, this is the way it's going to be. It's difficult. It's painful. Everything inside of you says, well, maybe I should be friends with them. Maybe I should send them that good reminder text or the clean slate message. It doesn't work.
Even your hormones want you to get this person back.
You know,
It's a big battle.
yeah, it's that internal drive, Margaret, that we all feel. You know, yes, the clean slate message, I can't say that it doesn't work ever, but I think in those cases, the person was probably already going to come back. You know what I mean? Like it was already, a situation where they were probably really considering repairing things with you anyway. You know what I mean? So allowing them to sit with that decision shows strength within you. It shows that you know what you deserve. You're not going to beg anybody to be in your life. And it gives you some of the power back, which is important,
Yeah, you also have to remember that they've probably thought about the breakup for a lot longer than you even know about. So they were bracing for your reaction. So a part of them might have expected you to cry, to try to convince them otherwise. So they were kind of like, oh God, I hope that they take it well. So if you're able to say, you know what, I respect what's going on here, and I'm going to let you come to me, then that eases them of that immediate pressure. That pressure is not conducive to their attraction. It's just going to make them feel more stressed out about the situation, and it's going to want them to distance from you more.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you have to consider that their needs at this moment are the exact opposite of yours. They're going to need that space and that freedom that they made the decision to end the relationship for. So it's going to take some empathy on your part and some perspective to see their needs. And it's really difficult when you're the one that's heartbroken to put yourself in their shoes, especially when everything that you want is what they don't want and vice versa.
Right.
It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you know, again, you can get overwhelmed with your own anxiety, and your brain will basically do whatever it can to trick you into reaching out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because
Because
your whole being says, get in touch with this person or we're going to die.
it's like a child that loses their parents.
Yeah.
I have to find my mom or I'm gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
I have to find my dad or I'm gonna die. Like a kid that's lost in the store. It's that same terror that you'd have as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that overwhelms you. And so you start looking for excuses to reach out. But you need them to feel the consequence.
Yeah, grief is a big part of this too.
Yes.
So your ex does go through a grieving process, and it's like grieving anything else. There are stages to it, and you always say there's a beginning, a middle, and an end.
And an end. Grief does end. People are so terrified to begin to grieve for fear it will go on forever.
It feels like it.
And that's why I say there's a beginning and a middle and an end.
Yeah, so you have to consider what would happen if you did reach out. And a part of this is interrupting their grief.
Right. Part of it is interrupting their grief, and that's not in your best interest if you want this person back. If you talk to them, you give them a fix, so to speak, and their anxiety will diminish, and they can go on comfortably for a little bit. So you don't want to help them calm down. You want them to sit with the anxiety of being away from you.
And on top of that, reaching out could also be intrusive.
Mhm.
So those with avoidant attachment styles, and we talk about attachment theory a lot on the channel, so if you want to learn more, watch those videos. But for those with an avoidant attachment style, any type of reach out could be especially intrusive.
That's what it feels like for them.
Mm-hmm.
I had a woman once tell me that an outreached hand felt like a clenched fist to her.
So letting them come to you reduces the pressure for them. So it reduces that pressure of them trying to soothe you after the breakup. Right now their mindset is in exploration and finally I'm free of this relationship. And I know that's very hard to hear on your end, but that's where they're at in this moment. They're not in the state to say, oh, I'm going to comfort you through this, or I'm going to hold your hand as you grieve me.
Yeah.
They're not just in that emotional state. So that independence is also good for you. And I know that's also hard to hear, that right now all you want to do is just connect with them. But you need that space for yourself as well to grow and to mature and to find yourself again. So it's good for you to have that independence for yourself. And you also don't want to convince your ex otherwise. Part of their worry about breaking up with you is that you would try to convince them otherwise or try to go back on their decision and not accept things as they are. So nobody wants to be tricked or convinced into loving somebody. That's something that you can't force from somebody. And that's why it's so important to let them come to you, for them to come to that realization of, I do want to reconsider this. I do want this, rather than feeling, oh, you know, they're really sad. Maybe I should. Or, you know, I see that they can't handle this. Maybe I feel guilty for leaving. You want them to have that attraction happen for them again.
Absolutely. And it just doesn't come by pressuring them.
No.
It really doesn't.
No.
You become on very unequal grounds after a breakup because you're on the same level essentially when you're in a relationship and a commitment, but when they walk away, now it feels like they have all the power. In a sense, they do, only in the sense that they are the ones that could make the decision that you guys get back together. That's what it feels like because you're so anxious to be with them again. But you don't have to go back to that relationship. You can decide, okay, if they were willing to walk away from me, what made them do that? What wasn't going well in the relationship? Look at the relationship closer. Was it healthy? Was it reasonably healthy? Was it toxic? I mean, you gotta kind of take stock of what happened and decide, is this something that I want for myself again? And you could decide no.
Yes, you could.
And so take a look at that. How healthy was the relationship? How healthy were you? How healthy was your partner? And what would it be like if you guys tried to repair this? Don't just get overwhelmed with your anxiety and do things because you're feeling anxious right now. Everybody deserves somebody that loves them and will really stick with their partner, even during the highs and the lows, even during the challenging parts. And if it didn't work out, and there's a lot of different reasons why it wouldn't, that doesn't mean that it can't be repaired. You just want to make sure that it's done so in a healthy way that works well for all of you involved.
Exactly.
So let us know what you think. And you know what? I would like to see comments from the people that have reached out to their ex since the breakup. How many times did you reach out? And what was their response? And that will show you that what we're saying is true, because chances are a lot of people are going to say, I reached out to my ex 5 times. I did the handwritten letter. I did the grand gesture. I stopped at their place. I did all these things. What was their response? And you'll see that it often makes the situation worse and your ex angry. So hopefully you like this video. Let us know. Leave a comment. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you think I can be helpful, please sign up.
And of course, Coach Victoria will be here training with us.
I'll be here.
And right now you could even see her in a call with Margaret.
Yes.
But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.